Okay, and this is part 2, rediscovering our path. And it begins with the second line of the poem. Faint rays of sunlight break on an overgrown trail in front of me. The great thing about the sun is, even though we might not always be able to see it, it is always there. Regardless of how many clouds there might be, the sun is still there, offering its light to the solar system, offering its light to us. A better path and the natural wisdom that lies within all of us are the same. Just as clouds obscure our ability to see the sun, our desires, incorrect views, our prejudices, and our expectations stop us from seeing our world or ourselves clearly, as we really are. As we do our best to find the right path in life, we often get lost in our immediate desires, memories of the past or hopes for the future. We might be focused on an immediate desire, like wanting a new car or to have more free time. We might think about a good experience from the past and then assume that doing the same thing will offer the same result. Finally, we might paint a beautiful picture in our minds of a specific future goal that we hope to achieve. But it's a mistake to base our decisions on any of these feelings. First of all, the things that we want arise from feelings. All feelings are temporary. Our nervous system is designed to focus on sensations that are new. After all, if we need to focus on it, we need to focus on it to know if it's a threat or if it can help us. Then a physical or emotional feeling will arise according to our interpretation of that thing that we are feeling. If it seems positive, we'll get a hit of dopamine and we'll feel drawn to it. But if it seems like a threat, we'll get a hit of adrenaline and we'll feel the need to either avoid it or confront it. After a short time, however, all of these sensations will wear away. And even if that original stimuli remains, the strength of that feeling will naturally fade away over time. That is why a person who wears a watch might forget that it's there, because the feeling of it has gone. That's why the excitement of a new purchase quickly fades away. And that's why a person who lives in an abusive situation can still smile and laugh in the midst of their difficult circumstances. So it's very difficult to rely on temporary emotional impulses when we are trying to make decisions. Second, when we recall events from the past, what remains in our minds is usually not reliable or accurate. If you really dig into it, our memory has a lot of limitations. For example, we can only remember things from our own point of view, and our memory will often exclude a vast amount of situational information that didn't seem important to us at the time. So our temporary emotions tend to either inflate how good and positive the experience was, or to make negative experience seem much worse. Even though life lessons from the past even though life lessons from the past are really valuable, expecting our present or future situations to replay a memory of some past experience is also a dangerous path to tread. Finally, the future is an illusion that only exists in our minds. Since it hasn't happened yet, it is inherently uncertain. So if we set any fixed expectation for something to happen in the future, we will just be setting ourselves up for future disappointment. The way that the future unfolds is a beautiful example of emergence. And it is incredibly complex. But to help us wrap our minds around it, we can imagine that the unfolding of the future has three main parts. First is our intentions, our hopes and actions that are directed towards a certain specific goal. The second part is our karma. The actions that we have taken in life have already determined much of our current circumstances, and they will continue to bear future results that we can't control. We still haven't felt all of the consequences of our past actions, and that is what our karma is. Our karma is the domino effect of consequences from our actions. So that will continue to come to us over time. The third factor is the karma of others. Our lives will be affected by the countless actions that everyone else has made in their own lives. This is the wild card, the great unknowable factor that we will never be able to predict accurately, because it is the bouncing back and forth, the crazy ping pong bouncing of actions and reactions and consequences that there is absolutely no way to predict. Our intentions and our karma, we have some ability to affect, but the karma of others, we can't do much about that. When we live our lives in a thoughtless way that is focused on temporary feelings and unclear ways of thinking, our own actions will bring a wake of negative karmic outcomes. And we'll get the inevitable and we will also get the inevitable complexities of everyone else's karma on top of that. So two of those three factors will likely end up working against us. But if we do our best to see our circumstances and ourselves clearly, and then act in an ethical way that follows our situation, we can slowly turn our karma into more of an asset than a liability. The results of our actions can work in tandem with our intentions for the future. Then we will suddenly have 2/3 of the factors working in our favor. That being said, there will always be that remaining 30% that cannot be predicted. And there is no way of knowing how much negative karma is still on the way for us. We still don't know how many of the actions we've taken in life still have some after effects that are on their way to us. So those things, that 30% of other people's karma and the remaining negative karma that has not yet come to us, those are things that will inevitably make our futures very uncertain and could bring some negative possible situations in the future. But by thinking clearly, understanding ourselves, seeing the situation clearly, we can start to act more correctly, and that can reorientate our karma, the future results of our karma, in line with our intentions, and make more positive possibilities for our future. So going back to so we need to do our best to let go of some of our very strict, clear, specific goals for the future and make soft goals in a broad and general direction After all, we will probably need to adjust our goals many times as we continue through life. So the question remains, how can we turn around our karma? How can we learn to act in a more clear and appropriate way? And this is the last section. So we will be stopping the second video here and moving on to the third video. So I hope that you will click and continue to watch the rest of this talk.